In this class, we're going to be using an integrated development environment, or IDE, called PyCharm. Now, you might have used PyCharm Community or PyCharm.edu in an earlier class, but I'm going to be showing you how to install the full professional version of PyCharm because it has some tools built in that we're going to be using later in the course, like the database tab. So first, PyCharm is a professional product and it's not free, but you can get a free 1-year license to use it just by having a pcc.edu email address, and you can renew it each year as well. And this license will actually give you access to all of the JetBrains integrated development environments. So JetBrains is a company that makes integrated development environments, and they have IDEs like PyCharm and WebStorm and PHP Storm for doing web development, and IntelliJ for doing Java and some other languages with a plugin, and CLion for doing C++, and lots of different development environments for lots of different languages. So getting the license is actually a really good deal. So I'm going to show you how to do that first. So if you just Google JetBrains student, the first link you should see is the free educational licenses community support JetBrains. And this is where you sign up. So for students and teachers, you can get an individual license. You can apply now. Apply with an email address, university email address. Select your status, whether you're a student or a teacher. Level of study, undergraduate. Is computer science or engineering your major field of study? Yes, no. And an expected graduation date. I don't know that they actually do anything with that because approval seems to be automatic. Your email address at pcc.edu. Your real name, country, region, and then check the boxes and click apply for free products. And then in your email, you will go ahead and get notice that you've got the license. Now, this is going to be assigned to the account that you're logged in on, and I don't think it actually asked you to log into an account. So you might want to create an account first. You can do that from the JetBrains homepage. There should be a login. There's a little user icon you can click on. This will allow you to log in, so you can either sign in with an existing account or click on create JetBrains account. So you start with your email address and go from there. So you're going to be using your email address as your username throughout this process. So that's about all you need to get the license. And then when you download and run the software, the first thing it'll ask you to do is to license the software. And you can choose your account, log into your account from there, and that will go ahead and license you up for a year. So once you've gotten your license, you can go ahead and download PyCharm. So we'll do PyCharm download. And once again, the first link here in Google is download PyCharm Python IDE for professional development, or for professional developers. And on this page, there's basically PyCharm Professional and PyCharm Community for Windows, Mac OS, and Linux. I'm going to install the Professional. If you haven't gotten your license yet, you can take advantage of a 14-day free trial while you're waiting. So I'm going to click the download button for Windows. It says, thank you for downloading. The download starts. It's about 465 megabytes. So we'll let that finish. Okay, so that took a couple of minutes to download, depending on how fast your network connection is. And when it's downloaded, just go ahead and click on it to run it. Okay, so now we're in the installer, and I'm just going to take the defaults for most of this. It will let you uninstall previous versions that you might have installed on your machine. I'm not going to bother doing that right now. So I'm going to go next. It tells you where it's installing it into your program files folder. And we'll go ahead and leave all of these be the default. And that's pretty much it. If you want to watch the details to get a sense of progress, you can open that up and watch it install the individual files. It's written in Java, so there's lots of jar files that need to get installed. Okay, that took maybe 3 or 4 minutes to install. So I'm going to go ahead and click the Finish button. And then let's go ahead and run it and see what it looks like. So I'm going to go ahead and under my JetBrains folder, you'll see all of my JetBrains IDEs. I have quite the collection at this point. And the one we just installed was PyCharm 2021.2. So let's go ahead and run that. And if nothing seems to be happening, make sure it didn't open anything in the background. So actually, here it comes. Okay, so I have a project open already. If I didn't have a project, you'd start with the tip of the day. Let me close the tip of the day. I'm going to go ahead and close this project. And what I would have seen looked something like this. So this is the welcome screen when you don't have any projects open. And I believe it would ask you to license the software now, and you'd log into the same account you just used for the student license. So I'm going to go ahead and click the new project button, Pure Python, asking me to select a location for the project. By default, it will be under your PyCharm projects folder, under your users directory, and then whatever name you want to give it. So let me just call this demo. And then this next block has to do with configuring an interpreter to run your Python program in the project. And you have two options here. You can either create something called a virtual environment by selecting this radio button. And that's going to be basically a standalone folder called VM that lives inside your project, where all of the libraries and tools that you need are kept. And that lets you have different environments for different projects. Or you can check this button and configure your global Python interpreter, which for me is installed at users mark app data local programs Python, Python 3.9, python.exe. And I'm going to talk about that more in a later video on managing your virtual environment. And then if you want a main.py welcome script to start as a sort of a template, go ahead and leave that button checked and hit create. So I've chosen global, so I don't have a virtual end folder. I do have my main.py file by default. It's also configured to run under this main thing here. If I press this run button, it runs, it executes, it prints hi PyCharm. And then there's also this database tab right here, which we'll be using later in the course. And so if you see that, you're good to go.